Welcome to this happy place. Welcome to Lilo and Stitches. We're your hosts,
Chris
and Jen.
Everybody, we're coming to you from Universal Orlando, someplace we haven't been in a while. Special thanks to Amy and James for hooking us up with a special day out here at Universal. We're gonna go check it out, see what it's like again. We haven't been here in over a year.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, kids. We're sure we're gonna have a blast, but we'll let you know how things go. So stay tuned.
All right, today we are going to talk about our trip to Universal Studios. First, we're going to give a huge thank you and shout out, as we did in the little opening video, to Amy and James. Amy is a friend / subscriber on my other channel, Cinnamon Stitches, and she very generously gifted us passes to Universal for the day, and we are very, very thankful for that. We had a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you to Amy and to James. And James works at Universal from what I understand, so they were able to get us tickets into the park for the day, and we had a lot of fun. It was a way better trip, way better experience than I experienced in the past. And the reason that is because in the past I didn't know what to expect. I didn't really prepare for our trip to Universal, and I didn't realize how many rides I cannot go on because of either our weight or because I cannot do rides with like virtual reality type stuff. I get really sick, and so there's a lot of that kind of ride at Universal. And so this time I went in more prepared on the rides, what I can and cannot do, and just the whole experience of it. Like we planned that out ahead of time.
So yeah, so all in all, this last trip was actually a lot better. We had a lot of fun. The kids had a blast. We actually spent the day there and didn't walk away kind of like bummed. We actually walked away fulfilled with what we had done for that day. And I think if anything, we probably could have went back another day, and done more. Only because we didn't do as much in Islands of Adventure as we had hoped. Only because we spent the first half of the day at Universal Studios.
It was more than half the day.
Yeah, it was more than half the day at Universal Studios, and then moved over to Islands of Adventure.
We were just having fun doing things.
Yeah. So, but one of the things that I did do when we first got there, in my head, I said, okay, we're here for a day. I want the kids to be able to have fun and experience stuff. I knew Jen and I weren't going to be able to ride very many rides, and we knew we could ride Men in Black, could ride The Simpsons, that kind of stuff. We could do the Hogwarts Express, but we knew that was probably about it. Maybe a couple other rides that we may or may not be interested in. So one of the things that I did do is, because I knew the kids could ride almost everything, is I went ahead and I got the Express Pass. So the Universal Express Pass, kind of like Disney, is like a fast pass, except at Universal it's something you pay for. It's an additional cost. The cost varies based on the time of year, the day of the week, whether it's one park, two park. It can go from it's not cheap to not super expensive to something that is pretty expensive, to the point where when I was buying it, the lady was like, let me see if it's even worth it for you to buy it today. And only because they know what the crowd levels are going to be like, so they might be able to tell you, yeah, don't. They just suggest not getting it or whatever. But that's another thing to take into consideration. If it's a weekday, you're probably going to be able to get on most rides fairly quickly, so you probably don't need it. But in any event, I did buy 2 passes for the kids, because I figured they would be able to ride most everything with the exception of 2 or 3 rides that are included in the pass and not have to wait. And we're only there for a day, and I don't know when we're going to be back again to Universal, and I wanted to make sure that they had a blast. And
also, because last time we went, because of the issues that we had, there were a lot of rides that the kids just couldn't get on with us, and because they were younger. It was like 3 years ago. They were significantly younger. We couldn't trust them to go stand in line by themselves. And so there was a lot of things that they missed out on that they wanted to do, and they had maybe a longer wait. And so this time we wanted to ensure that they got to ride, especially our daughter is she used to be a huge Harry Potter fan. She still is she's not as big of a fan, but there were still a lot of things she didn't get to do last time. Like the Gringotts ride. Yep. She wanted to go on that. She actually got to go on, and she really enjoyed it. And some of the Harry Potter rides, the lines were either too long or we couldn't go get in line with them. So she didn't get to do a lot of these experiences last time. So we wanted to make sure she got to do all of the rides that she wanted to do. Any of them, like if she wanted to get on the ride, she'd get on the ride. And same with little man. And so they were able to accomplish that with the express pass because we knew we were only going to be there for the one day.
Yeah.
It was well worth the cost to me, honestly. I think especially because this was a gifted trip to us, so we didn't have the ticket price on top of the express pass price. Like, it just made it well worth it to me. Chris had a harder time with the price, and he kept saying, well, you got to do this. And he was trying to get his money worth for the price.
Wanted to make sure they rode everything, told him to ride stuff twice.
And he was actually stressing out about it. I was like, you need to just relax and we paid it already. Just let them do what they want to do. And we had a lot of fun just sitting and people watching or just enjoying the environment around us. But I will say this, because we had a lot of like downtime where we were watching people, and we did notice that Universal is not as strict with the face mask policy or the cleaning policies, or the hand sanitizer stations were like few and far between.
Yeah.
And as in regards to Universal versus Disney, I think Disney's probably doing a much better job with the cleanliness and the keeping everybody like social distanced and masked up and all that stuff. But other than that, like, we had a really, really amazing time. We actually started off the day at the Simpsons area, and first thing we did, it was about, what was it, about 10 or 11?
No, we didn't actually start there. So we got there when the park opened. So the first thing we did was actually went straight back towards the New York City area, because our daughter wanted to ride the Mummy ride.
The Mummy.
And obviously,
little man rode it too,
and
he
we
was
can't
scared.
ride on it. We can't ride on it because we don't fit. But they went ahead and went on it. We sat down. While we were there, Jen had mentioned that she was a little bit hungry because we didn't eat breakfast before we left the hotel.
And I take morning medicine, so that was upsetting my stomach.
So I was like, okay, let me see what I can find. Unfortunately, first thing in the morning right there's not a whole lot of gluten-free options. There was like
nothing.
Nuts.
There was nothing.
There was nuts and fruit in a cup. And that was about the only thing.
I don't like melon, and the fruit in the cup was mostly melon.
Yeah.
So I had like 3 pieces of watermelon and like 5 candied, what was it, cashews or
Cashews.
Cashews.
Yep. Yeah. So that was like the morning we went over to like the New York area. They did the Mummy, and then from there we kind of started to make our way over towards the Simpsons area.
However, little man got to go on Mummy, and his sister went 3 years ago when we went, and Juju was really excited. She wanted to take him on. He's big enough, and she didn't tell him anything about the ride. He just knew it was the Mummy, and he was so excited. And then he got in the line, and he realized it was a little bit scary, and he started to cry a little bit. And she's all, "No, you're gonna get on the ride." She made him get on the ride. He did really good. He came off, and the rest of the day he didn't really trust her, so he wasn't sure if he wanted to ride with her on any more rides. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we went to the Simpsons area, and by then, like, the 3 pieces of watermelon and the little cashews weren't really fixing the stomach issues that I was having. So we were on the search once again for snacks that were gluten-free that I could eat.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool because we also wanted to do a little like browsing in the stores, and we went into the Quickie Mart. And I don't know if you know this about Universal, but the Quickie Mart and the little bar across the street, the bar across the street serves Duff beer and Squishies. So, like, Squishies are the slushies from the Quickie Mart. And also, you can get the big pink donut from, the one that Homer is always drooling over.
Yeah, from the donut shop or the store.
Yeah, you can get it at the Quickie Mart or the donut shop. And that donut, I couldn't eat any this trip, but the last trip I actually did. It is the best donut that I've ever tasted. It's very light and airy and delicious. But now that I realize I can't eat gluten, I couldn't eat it this time. But we still got it for the kids.
Yep.
And while we were sitting outside the Quickie Mart, there is a telephone that is just rings. It rings and rings. And I told little man to pick it up, but I did. I used some hand sanitizer and I sanitized the phone. I really did. And little man picked up the phone, and the phone is ringing, but also there's characters on the other end. And so it kept ringing. He would pick it up, and it would be Marge Simpson, like, saying it's time to come home, and he'd hang it up. And there was one time it rang, and he picked up, and it was Ralph, and Ralph was saying something about when he's mad, he uses his poopy face, like his face when he's pooping. It was just the funniest. Like, it was some of the funniest catchphrases with these characters talking to you on the phone. He was so excited. He stood guard on that phone for about 25 minutes, just kept answering it and answering it and answering it. He wanted to talk to all the Simpsons characters, and I don't think most people realize that phone is even there.
Yeah, they probably hear it ring and they're like, "What the heck?"
And we were sitting there because Chris went to go get us some snacks. So you can go ahead and tell us about our snacks.
Well, they sat down, and I said, "You know what? I'll be back. I'm gonna go get something to drink." And so I went on a hunt to go find some place to get something to drink. And while I was there, I was like, "Oh, you know what? Jen could probably eat popcorn." So yes, she only had the fruit, but she could probably eat popcorn. So I was like, "Okay, I'll get a refillable cup popcorn bucket so we can get as much popcorn as we want that day." While I was there, we got a refillable cup, and that's one thing that Universal does that I think is awesome compared to Disney World. Is Disney has refillable mugs at the resorts, and they have refillable mugs at the water parks, but they don't have refillable cups at the theme parks. And Universal has Coke Freestyle cups. They have a lot of freestyle machines throughout the park. You don't have to use a freestyle machine. Sometimes you can just get them refilled at the little kiosk. But for a flat price, I think it was like $14 or something like that. It's unlimited refills all day long, and so you don't have to pay for them. So it's great. I mean, granted, if you're not going to be drinking, they have other things too other than soda. But if you're not drinking if you're only drinking water, then it's not a benefit for you. One of the things that they do now is you can actually get the icy in the cup now. So instead of just soda,
Squishy.
well, it's icy to other places in the park. Squishy or icy, you can get in the cup, but you can get tea, Powerade, water. You can get water if you want, but you can also get all the different Coke products that you want. So it was really neat. So I got popcorn, I got a Coke, and while I was there, I saw that they had turkey legs, and I said, a turkey leg is just meat. There's no gluten. Granted, there could be because they could marinate it or something like that. I didn't even think about that. But I went ahead.
It didn't make me sick.
Yeah, I got the popcorn, I got the soda, I got a turkey leg, so I came running back. It was like, look at what I found. I scored. You can eat now. So we did, and we'll put a picture in here. But we did. We sat there, we devoured the turkey leg, we ate the popcorn, we drank the soda, and everybody answered the phone while it rang. And then we looked to our right, and there's a ride right there.
Twirl and Hurl.
Twirl and Hurl.
It's the alien from the Halloween episodes of The Simpsons. Yep. So every Halloween they have the aliens, and it's kind of like a Dumbo ride. Yeah. It's the alien, and his tentacles have little spaceships on it, and you go around and you raise your spaceship up and down to try to hit the characters. So it's a game as well as a ride. And the kids went to go get in line, and we were just sitting chilling. And I was like, well, I'm going to go take a picture of the kids. And so I walked over there, and he's sitting there holding the turkey leg and the popcorn bucket and the cup, and like he's got all of the things. And I thought I was going to go take a picture.
And the backpack and...
Yeah, everything. He had everything. So I thought I was going to go over there and take a picture, and I was like, okay, there's literally no line to get on this ride. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. I got in the line with the kids. We all got on. I didn't even tell him.
I'm like, where are they? And I get up, and sure enough, I see her on the ride. I'm kind of like, okay.
I was like, hi. But, so that was one ride that I know that I could ride. I've ridden it before. It was a lot of fun. But we had a good time in the Simpsons area. Well, we stayed there like quite a while.
Yeah, and Little Man wanted to go on more rides. Our daughter didn't want to go on the Simpsons ride. It's you're in a car thing. I fit on it. Jen fits on it. The only problem with it is that it's a virtual reality or one of those rides where you're in front of a screen.
Simulator.
It's a simulated ride, so you're not actually, the ride itself is moving, but it's stationary. And Jen cannot do those rides. Our daughter didn't want to go on it, so I went on it. Me and Little Man went on it. And he was nervous. He was scared. And I think partly because our daughter had terrified him with the mummy.
The mummy. She scarred him.
so he didn't want to go on. But we finally got on. And we took the ride, and I realized partway through that I'm not sure that I like simulated rides anymore either. So I ended up having to look down at the floor because I wasn't handling it very well. But my son loved it. Yeah. We got off the ride, and as we got off the ride, who do we see but Sideshow Bob?
Well, Sideshow Bob actually came out while we were waiting for them to get off the ride. And I have a selfie that I took with him because I was like, hey, Bob. And he turned around behind me and he made the face at me. And he took a selfie with me while I was sitting on a park bench waiting for them. And then when they came out, little man had a Bart Simpson shirt on, which kind of riled SpongeBob.
Sideshow Bob. Is that Sideshow Bob's nemesis?
He riled him up, and he was like trying to get after Lucas. It was really funny.
But it was one of the it was the way they do character greets now, which is obviously social distance. Sideshow Bob was behind a railing, so you couldn't like get over to where Sideshow Bob was.
But he couldn't get to us either.
And he couldn't get to us either, but yeah,
because he was saucy.
Yeah, so he was fun. He was fun, you know, and little man had a good time, you know, saying hi to him and stuff like that. And I was like, you know, what do we do now? And I was like, you know, the one ride we knew we all could ride, which was Men in Black. We're let's go do that.
That's a good ride.
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun.
Yeah, let's go do that. So we went over there. And Universal, there's a number, you know, a lot of the rides, they don't want you to bring stuff on the ride. So, like at Men in Black, you can't have anything on the ride. So they have lockers directly next to the ride. And so you're allowed to have a small locker for free while you go ride the ride, and then you get off and you come get your stuff. Well, the problem with the small free lockers is they're tiny. So while the bag may have fit, we also had a wand. I had the cup, I had a popcorn bucket. There was just no way I was going to get it all fit in one. So I think I paid like $3 with a credit card for one of the bigger lockers so that I could put everything in there. But they give you a locker, you put your stuff in it. Everybody can get their own locker if you want to put your stuff in it, but we went and jumped on the ride. You know?
And the ride is a lot of fun. Like, it's based off the movie Men in Black. So the idea is that you are one of the Men in Black. You have been, where's the word?
Recruited?
Yes, thank you. You've been recruited. You are a Men in Black. You are going to go and they give you a little phaser gun on the ride. You're strapped into these seats. And the idea is like it's a laser gun. You have to shoot at the aliens to get them. And the bad aliens, of course.
Right.
And it's two cars going simultaneously along through the ride track. And it will spin you around to different scenes, and it's very neat. And what we didn't realize the last time we rode it is there is a point where it says to aim at the other car. There's a light above their smokestack on their vehicle, and if you shoot that, it spins them. And when we realized that what it did,
we kept shooting them.
We shot that car and spun it. Probably made those people sick. But it was a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a good ride. It's a really good ride. I love it that it's fat friendly. Like, we fit on it, and we fit decently on it. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun. It's interactive. Yeah. It's very a cool ride. Yeah. We wanted to ride E.T., but E.T. got shut down for a couple hours, and then by the time it opened back up, we were leaving. And so that was like totally a disappointment.
Yeah, E.T. is one of those rides that, again, it's similar setup as in Men in Black. In terms of the way the cars, the bikes, the ride set vehicle, up. Yeah. So yeah, we were able to ride that one just fine, but unfortunately it was closed because we would have loved to have rode that one. That one would have been pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that we were like, you know, hey, let's head over to, I think it was Hogsmeade.
I don't know.
Is that what that area is called?
I don't know what that.
No, I think it's Hogsmeade.
I don't think it is. I think Hogsmeade is in the other park. I could be wrong. We don't know. I'm not a Harry Potter fan to begin with. I've never seen any of the movies all the way through.
Don't give us negative comments here because we apologize.
My daughter loves Harry Potter. Yeah, that's his name. Harry Potter. He has seen all the movies. It just has never interested me. I'm not anti-Harry Potter. It's just I don't get in. It's not my thing. So we went over to Harry Potter Land. I know that makes us terrible, but whatever. We went over there and the kids got to ride Gringotts, and then we sat down and waited for them, and I got myself a little butterbeer.
Yeah, but before that though, as soon as you get in there, you know, you're basically in the area where it's all the shops and stuff from like the movie, the bank where where all the little guys work and stuff like that. And they have a wand shop. And last time we had went, our daughter, first thing she wanted, Ollivander's wand shop. Our daughter wanted a wand. So she went, she got her wand, and sure enough, our son wanted a wand. And
yeah, well, she had the wand 3 years ago. She never, and it was an interactive wand. She never used it to do any of the wand stops to perform the magic. And I think because she was like embarrassed to try, or I don't know why she didn't try. So she brought her wand this trip. I told her she's doing those wand stops. Yeah. And so little man wanted his own wand. So we took him into Ollivander's.
Yeah.
And I swear this kid is so easy. We had to stand in line because they're only letting so many people in this shop at a time. And we stood in line. We stepped into the door. He found a red box because red is his favorite color of all time. He found a red box, grabbed it off the shelf, and then walked up to the cash register, and he was done. He didn't care what the wand looked like. I was like, well, wait a minute. Let's look at the wand and see first. And the lady that was guarding the door, like letting people in and out, she was actually talking to him about his wand. It was really cute. He pulled his wand out. He's, oh, yeah, that's a good one. He's ready. And so he's swishing it around in the store to make sure that it had good magic to it, I guess. And so he almost whacked both of us with it. And she's all, that's a very good wand. And she grabbed it. And she's telling him about the type of wand it is and what kind of powers and like what kind of people have those kind of wands. And it was really, really a cool, like, interactive thing that he had with her. And then we went up and we paid for his wand. And he wanted to stop at all of the magic stops and try out his wand. But him being 6 years old, he had a really hard time getting the motions down that they wanted. So a lot of them just did not work for him. Even our daughter, who's 15, had trouble with some of them. But like that is a really neat thing to do at Universal, is just those wand stops.
And I do want to clarify, it is not Harry Potter Land. It's Diagon Alley.
Thank you. You figured it out.
So we were in Diagon Alley.
Give me your cup.
Do you remember the name of the area where all the other wand stops were?
Nocturne Alley.
Nocturne Alley, which is actually kind of like the underbelly area of Diagon Alley. So it's supposed to be where all like the bad people go to buy.
We couldn't find it our last trip. We had no idea where to go to even find it. Like we were lost.
We're not evil people, so it's hard for us to find it.
So we actually looked it up, and we like found it and took the kids into Nocturne Alley.
It was pretty.
And it was neat down there. The kids liked it a lot.
But so after the wand, then we went around. The kids we had the kids go on the ride. With Express Pass was great because they were able to go straight onto the ride.
Yeah, straight onto Gringotts.
And then we went and sat down. One of the things that I like that Universal's doing, and they probably did it before and I never paid attention, was mobile ordering. And so there was like these long lines to get butterbeer. And if you haven't tried butterbeer, if you go to Universal, you gotta try it.
It's so
Even
good.
if you think it's too sweet afterwards, that's fine. You can at least say you tried it, right? I'm okay with it. They love it. I'm okay with it.
Well, let me tell you what butterbeer tastes like to me, okay? Butterbeer is like cream soda on the bottom, and the marshmallow tastes like marshmallow caramel fluff type flavors, but there's like also like a ginger snap or like some type of cookie flavor is in there. It is just so good, and yes, it's really sweet. But it's the foam that's on top that's really sweet, and it makes the cream soda flavor on the bottom not as sweet, so it kind of balances. I just think it's delicious.
Yeah.
I got the regular butterbeer, the cold butterbeer, and our daughter got frozen butterbeer,
frozen.
And she got butterbeer ice cream, and she got butterbeer fudge. She wanted all of the butterbeer flavors. And then she took because she's been saving up her money for this trip. She went into, what is that little shop that
the sweet shop?
The redheaded family owns?
I don't remember the name.
Okay, well, I don't remember either. She went into there and she got herself a chocolate frog. Or no, the chocolate frog was on the other side with the houses with the snow.
Yep.
She got a chocolate frog, and then she got those exploding candies, which is like bonbons. Yep, it's like white chocolate with orange Pop Rocks inside. They were really good. She got herself a ton of sugar. A ton. But it lasted her like several weeks because I think she still has some of that stuff upstairs. She eats it a little at a time so she can make it last.
Drive home snack. Yeah, for sure.
I had a lot of fun. Even though I'm not a Harry Potter fan, even if we go to Hollywood Studios at Disney World, I've never been a Star Wars fan, but the land makes me want to be a part of it. It makes me excited about it. So now I like Star Wars more because of Galaxy's Edge and Hollywood Studios. It's the same thing with Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade and all that. Like, being in there, it's cool. And I like seeing all the stuff. I love seeing the excitement on my daughter's face when she explains what all this stuff is to her dense mother. But it's a lot of fun. We did not get to ride the train.
Yeah, it was. I think it was about a
75
minute wait.
Little man does not do good in long lines.
Yeah, so we ultimately decided against it, and so unfortunately, the only other way to get to Islands of Adventure is you have to then go back out to the exit, to the entrance of Universal Studios, and then walk around to Islands of Adventure. They had one of the staff members told us there was a shortcut, and she said you can take the shortcut. And I said, oh, okay, well, my daughter needed to go to the restroom, so we sat down for a minute, and by the time she came back, they said it was closed.
And that cast member was gone. He couldn't.
Right.
And the other cast member was like, it hasn't been open all day.
Right. So now we have to walk all the way around. So we walked all the way around, and we were able to go to Islands of Adventure. So certainly if you don't mind standing in lines, I highly suggest going to King's Cross Station and catching Hogwarts Express over to Islands of Adventure. And
we did ride that 3 years ago. It is a lot.
It is really fun.
Really neat.
It's an experience. So while yes, it's transportation to the park, it's an experience in itself, and we certainly recommend anybody take the time to try that. Unfortunately, we didn't this time just because of the time. But the time fluctuates throughout the day, and if you have the app, the Universal app, you can actually monitor the wait times for certain rides and things like that. And when you see it drop down to a certain point that you're comfortable with, go get in line, because it's an experience, and I think you'll have a blast. But we didn't do it, but we did walk around to Islands of Adventure, and at that point we were kind of like, we had dinner reservations. We had a ride reservation for Hagrid's motorbike. So we kind of got over there, and we're like, took a break in their relaxation zone. So it's similar to Disney World, where it's an area in the park where you can sit on some tables or a chair or a bench or whatever, take your mask off and relax. So we went in there for a few minutes, kind of took our masks off, got our thoughts together, what we were going to do next, and kind of moseyed on over to Seuss Landing, which is the Dr. Seuss area of the park.
Which is really cool.
We liked it last time, too.
I love just the theming, just the way that the plants look. The plants all look Seussical.
Yeah.
The theming is amazing. Like, Universal really does their theming really well. I didn't take notice of it last time, but this trip, especially in what's that part of the park? Universal Studios and
Islands of Adventure.
Islands of Adventure. In Islands of Adventure especially, like, there is a lot of things that I did not take notice of last time because I was having a miserable time, honestly. But there's, like, sounds and, like, the buildings. It's just very, very beautiful.
Right.
And I took notice of it this trip. And we actually sat in Seuss Land, and I was just amazed at some of the plant life and, like, the characters that are statues out there. It was really,
we sat
beautiful.
Under a tree, and they actually had trimmed the tree to a point where the ends of the branches, the leaves, were circles. So
I'll pop up a picture.
Yeah, so they were actually balls like you would see in many of the Seuss books. And it was a live tree. You can tell they took care to make sure it didn't harm the tree. And it looked fantastic. It was really neat. And the kids ran off and ran a couple of rides, and we just kind of sat there and just ate popcorn and drank our refillable drink and just kind of watched. Yeah, just kind of chilled out. And then once...
Now, there are a few rides in the Seuss area that we can fit on.
Yeah, we just didn't.
Yeah. We let the kids go and do their thing, and we stayed stationary and let them have their fun.
Yep. So after that, it was like close to the time for us to go get some food. It was actually close to the time for them to go ride Hagrid's motorbike. So we walked over to Hagrid's motorbike, got the kids checked in with the virtual queue time.
They got in the line, got up to the queue where they were ready to go into the building, and the little man decided at that moment he had to go to the bathroom right now. And he was crying. He had to go to the bathroom. So she got out of line with him, brought him to us, and at that point she was embarrassed or whatever, and she didn't want to get back in the line, even though they told her she could. And so she didn't get to ride Hagrid's. And I was, like, really bummed for her. I felt so bad because when
So
you're
we will
sick,
have to
you
go
gotta
back.
go to the bathroom. You gotta go to the bathroom.
Yeah, we will have to go back again at some point.
And take
just,
that. Make sure
just
she
so
gets
can
on
do
that ride.
Just so one, they can do that, but also when more of the rides are open, because I wouldn't mind going on like the dinosaur ride or some of the water rides when
the
it's
Jurassic
warm.
Park one.
Yeah, when it's warmer out and stuff like that. And so we'll go back and hopefully she'll be able to ride it. But yeah, unfortunately we called it a day from riding rides at that point, because our time
it was time for dinner.
It was time for dinner. And I was on a hunt, before we went to try to find where were we going to eat that had like the best gluten-free options, right? And everything I kept finding and everything I kept reading was saying there wasn't a lot of stuff in the parks. We had a reservation for Cowfish, which for those of you who don't know, it's a weird fusion of sushi and burgers. um, You'll have to check out their menu. You can Google it online, Cowfish. But we were interested. We were going to check it out. But we realized there's not a ton on their menu that was gluten-free. And it's like, yes, you can get a burger with a gluten-free bun. Or yes, you can get sashimi that doesn't have anything in it that's glutinous. Get it, And so I was like, there's got to be something better. And I kept looking. And everything I kept pointing to was talking about a restaurant called Mythos. And I was like, what is this restaurant? So sure enough, I went out, looked them up. And their menu had a significant number of gluten-free options. And I was like, wow, this is fantastic. It's in the park, so we don't have to leave the park. And it's in...
I go into detail, like very good detail in our gluten-free visiting the parks video, which was just prior to this one. I will link that below. I went into detail with pictures and everything that we ate. But for me, being the one who is gluten-free, and it's a new thing for us to have to deal with this, because we just realized a couple months ago that I can't eat gluten. And so this is a very new experience for us. And for me, I was terrified.
Yeah.
And it was a very good experience. The food was amazing. The waiter was amazing with explaining to us about the foods, what can and cannot be gluten-free. If there's something on the menu that I wanted that doesn't say it's gluten-free, they probably can make it gluten-free for me. It was a really, really good experience.
Well, we got an appetizer that wasn't gluten-free, but they modified it to be gluten-free. And the only modification was they just needed to change the bread.
Yeah.
Because it was a dip with bread, and so they got rid of the regular bread and replaced it with gluten-free bread. Yeah. Boom, done.
And the restaurant inside is beautiful. Oh, yeah. It is based off of Greek mythology. And there is just so many. Like, there's a waterfall on the outside of the building that you can see on the inside. It's like you're in a cave. Yeah, it's like you're in a cave, like a mythic Greek cave. It was a really nice. I really enjoyed it. The food was phenomenal. The prices were good.
Yeah, it was a great price. Food was great, and you're actually right there on the lake in Islands of Adventure. So it's a great view, and certainly on a hot day would be great. This is a sit-down restaurant, so it's really great if you want to get inside and sit down in the air conditioning.
Have a nice relaxing meal.
Yeah.
They also have an outdoor patio. If you don't feel comfortable eating inside, they have an outdoor patio. You can eat outside. Yep. And it was really cool restaurant.
At the end of the day, it was actually a really nice way to end our visit.
It was.
Because and I was, as Jen had mentioned, I was worried about getting my money's worth for the Express Pass, to the point where I actually told her, I was like, hey, maybe I should give these away to somebody. Somebody who's here that could use them. So I was actually kind of trying to pay attention to see if there were any kids who were like bugging their parents to go on a ride, and a parent says, no, that's too long of a wait, then I'd be like, here, you can have these.
I will say, we only bought the Express Pass for the 2 kids. We did not need to buy the Express Pass for everyone in our party. So if you have someone in your party who likes to do all of the big roller coaster, like you have a teenager who likes to ride all the big roller coasters.
You don't have to buy them for everyone.
And you just can't stomach the big roller coasters, and you want them to get the most out, you can buy it just for that teenager and let them just go do their thing, ride their rides, have their fun, and then you can go do what you want to do. Yeah. And I think personally it was well worth the money to do that. And the kids got to do whatever they wanted in a timely. They got to ride a lot more rides than I thought they would be able to ride. Yeah. And so I thought that was a good experience. So, and Mythos was an amazing way to end the day. I felt leaving the park so happy and so peaceful and full, and like, when your tummy's full but you're not over full and you just feel like good about the day. Yeah. That's how we left. And that's not how I left the the park the last time we went. I actually left crying. So
Yeah.
this was an amazing experience.
Night and day difference between
Night
the
and
last
day.
experience.
Now that we know, like, I can see us going to Universal again in the future, definitely. I want to take my little sister. We're going to Disney with them in December, and I totally want to take her and my baby niece because I think they're going to like it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to that. Now I have a better understanding of how the park works and all that, so better prepared for that. I'm really grateful to Amy and James for gifting us for the tickets because this changed my mind a lot.
It reopened our eyes to Universal and kind of helped us realize that maybe we had judged it too harshly, and it's a mental thing, right? So it's mentally prepare for what's to come, and at that point, it's easier for you to have a better time when you're not expecting the world and you're walking in saying, I know what to expect from me as a bigger person or as somebody who can't eat gluten, but have two kids who can do all those things.
Yeah.
Then it's easier to prepare, and you walk in and you're still able to have a blast because at the end of the day, your kids are having a blast and you're having a blast, just kind of doing your thing. Now, if you want to go and you want to ride a ton of stuff and you're too big to ride a ton of stuff, and that's your mindset, then you might not be happy with the trip, but give it a try. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you can do.
Yeah, we had a good time, and again, thank you so much, Amy and James. I always say, like, I don't know what I did in my life to deserve such generous people like that.
Yeah.
That gift us with stuff, and to gift us with a day to an amusement park like that is a really, really big deal to me. And so thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our kids definitely thank you. I know the little man would definitely be in here in a second if I let him to tell you how much it meant to him, because he had an amazing time. Our daughter had an amazing time too. So from the Rivera family, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you guys in the next one.
See
Bye.
ya.